We have been talking during these 2 days about MPN world and these things what we're doing between Spain and Holland. And I just wanted, I asked John to give you more explanation about how these tools will be working. The idea is that, actually you're coming here from Germany, from Holland, from France, look at it, and I think it's something which would be a very good tool for all of us to cooperate more about what we're doing. Yeah? Please, John, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, thank you. I would like to show to you two applications that we have developed in the Netherlands for initially the Dutch patient group, but both are going to be available globally. And what we want to achieve, the first one I'm going to show you is MPN World, what I talked yesterday about. This is a system where patients can interact with each other, and it takes care of making a balance between what you discuss locally in your country for country-specific items like local insurance or local hospitals or whatever, and a global level that is relevant for all patients regardless of where you live. For instance, side effects, complaints, whatever. And so we decided to set up the system in such a way that you can become part of your local country, and you are a member of that country, and you can communicate with people from your country. And you can also become member of the global group, where you can talk to people who are also member of the global group, which initially is everybody. Then you can also decide, I not only want to join the Dutch group and the global group, but I also want to be part of the Spanish group, because whatever reason. And for that, we also provide real-time translation. So you can post your questions or remarks in your own language, and somebody from Spain who is not speaking Dutch can translate that into Spanish via click on the button. We have a number of components. The most important one is the live feed. The live feed is just like your Facebook timeline. You can post a question and people will respond to it. And there is also something called a media center. For instance, everything here is being recorded, and we can post that on this media center platform, and you can always return there and look back any of the presentations that were presented today. That is the media center. Then there is a place where you can post events. For instance, this spring event has been published, and one of the consequences is that a lot of people in the Netherlands are watching this in the live stream because this event was published on the MPN World. Now, most of the questions on the live feed are questions that you put there to give some information, and you want some response on it. Sometimes you have something to share that is not only relevant today or the coming weeks, but it might still be relevant 5 years from now. For instance, we had quite a discussion about how to handle itching. And we had a lot of ideas from patients who have experience with specific therapies that improved itching. We had the same with fatigue. We had 7 alternative strategies to combat fatigue. Then we decided to create a document or a post where we list all these strategies into one document, and then we put that in the forum, because the forum is, like any forum, is a place that is easy searchable by tags. If you search fatigue, you get everything relevant to fatigue, but it will remain there for a long time, and all the replies are structured in that forum. So we have to educate our users when to put something on the global live feed, when to put something on the local live feed, when to put something on the forum. And the forum also has a local and a global one. So initially this is difficult, but once people get acquainted to it, they start to use it in the right way. This is my last slide from yesterday. So I invite you all, go there, register yourself. We want to be sure that patients registering are really patients and not somebody from a pharmaceutical company or an insurance company or whatever. So we are trying to check whether or not people applying for this are really patients. That might mean it will take a couple of days before you get access to the system, and it might even mean you get a phone call to make sure that you are a patient. If you are in Spain, you will be assigned to the Spanish group. If you are not in Spain, and I assume you are not Dutch here, then you will be assigned to rest of world. Rest of world is just a combination for people who are not part of any of the other groups. What, of course, we want to have in the future is every country has its own dedicated group. But for that, we need to grow, and we have to grow a lot. In the Netherlands, we now have 1,500 people on this system, which is about 15% of all the patient populations, which is extremely high. If you imagine, if we would have 15% of all the patients worldwide, we will end up with a system with maybe more than 100,000 people in there, giving information and gives us a very powerful voice. Okay. Seeing is believing, so let's jump to a small demo. So when you enter MPN World, this is your main page. And for every person, there will be, if you want, a photograph and information about this person. Tell me. Any idea? I'm screen sharing, not just application sharing, but it's not refreshing. Oh, maybe it's because I'm in presentation mode. Wait. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yes. Sorry. Now I lost my mouse. My mouse is on the screen. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is the homepage of MPN World. And as you can see, I am member of 3 groups, and I am also a member of MPN World. The most used item there is the live feed. So if I look at the live feed, I get an overview on a Facebook-like overview. We see that Remco here has checked in at Barcelona 5 hours ago to attend the Global MPN Symposium. He had 1 like. Now he has 2 likes. Mona also checked in. She doesn't have likes, but she has now 1. Oh my God. And she also published a photograph of the symposium. But this is Dutch. For the demo, I've put my language to English. And if I click this button, you can see that it is an immediate translation into English. If I would change my language to Spanish, this would be translated into Spanish. So for every post there, you can post in your local language and you get answers in the local language. And then you can translate it. Or you can answer in your language, and the local language on the other side will be able to translate your language into their language by a push of the button. This is an example. Somebody asking, I have temporarily stopped taking interferon. Can anyone tell me how long it stays in the body? There is 1 comment, probably from Kaspar. Yes, Kaspar is very specialized on medication, and he always replies. And he replies, no withdrawal symptoms, and the half lifetime of Pegasus is 1 week. This is just 1 example. Somebody having a question is being answered within a day, and this person is satisfied with the answer. Now, there is a lot going on here, but I can tell you from the responses of people being on the platform and the involvement they have, that they experience this as a very, very useful source of information. And it's very comforting to know that whatever question you have will be answered on this platform. I see a question.
Yes, just to add. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Oh.
Another micro? Ah, yeah, okay. Just on my experiences with a Facebook group or something like that, do you have some, let's say, the information which is provided in such a thing is not always the best information? Do we have something like a moderator or somebody who is looking over the things, or is it just the swarm intelligence which should lead to best?
Okay, this is a little bit depending on the scale. And I will tell you my experience. When we started with 200 people. We had two fears. Will this turn into, because this was also during COVID, will this turn into another social platform where people are posting things that are not relevant, but just want to push their information? Therefore, we do have a moderation function. If we see something that is inappropriate, then we will take that post away. What we have found, however, if somebody is posting something that is not adequate, there will be 10 to 15 people replying to that, which is much more powerful than moderating it. So we see that the patient community itself is able to keep this clean and relevant. If somebody is posting something that is untrue or inadequate, other people will respond to this and make sure that it's going to be balanced. But we have the capability to moderate. So far, we have used it one time in 2 years.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that's a big difference to what we were used to in Facebook.
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
not just talking about the COVID things, but in the minor.
I'm not only talking about COVID things, it's also with the myelofibrosis group where you have some people who have obviously a lot of free time and tend to divide their opinion, which is not always on the news side of information that I have. So
you have a beautiful way of phrasing it. We see problems when it comes to side effects of medication. So a lot of people have troubles understanding that what they have not always necessarily is a side effect of medication. There could be other factors. People have the tendency to look for causes, and in a lot of situations, they blame the medication. What you will see every time over and over again, I had an example he was saying, when I started hydroxyurea, I wanted to commit suicide. And I never had this feeling before. So he was claiming that this drug has very dangerous side effects because he was in the situation and he correlated his desire to kill himself to the use of hydrea. Now, maybe there is something in there. But what happens is that a lot of people are responding to it, saying, I'm using this drug for 30 years without any problems. So be careful with what you're saying. So it's a self-cleaning mechanism as long as patients are willing and able to reply in a responsible way. And we try to educate them to behave like that. And we should do that by giving ourselves the best example. Okay, this is the live feed. There is also the possibility to connect to people. Sorry, Marcus.
John, I have a question to the data protection. I see the...
German speaking, first question.
Yeah, Swiss, not German.
I know, that's why I said German speaking.
We have the same problems in Switzerland. So I see the real names there. Is there no problem in Netherlands? Or is it a closed
for this situation?
It's a closed community.
Oh yes, absolutely. So it's a closed community. You as a person can define in your privacy settings. I keep everything open, but in your privacy settings, you can decide, for instance, with respect to secondary information, where do you live, what's your Facebook profile, what's your email. I make everything visible to all users. Even my phone number is visible to all users. But I can say this is only visible to admin. So now my mobile phone will be only visible to admin users, but not to any other users on the platform. I think about 70% of people share everything because they know it's a closed community. That is why we do this moderation on beforehand, that we want to check if somebody's signing up. There is a big process in the background where you're not just registering for the system, but you need an activation code, and the activation code will only be provided by you by one of our moderators, who are all day checking whether or not these are real patients.
Yeah, I understand, but maybe the people are agreed to see the full name in the beginning, and after a few months or after a few mails, they think it would be better if the others see not the full name, so they can change again. Or
well, they can change their settings real time. But again, we have never been in a situation that sometimes we see people leave the platform for various reasons. There are people who say, I don't want to be confronted with my disease so often, which is quite understandable. I mean, if you're stable for 30 years, you don't have any symptoms, why would you be on this platform? It's not of any use to you. So they tried it and say, nah, this is nothing for me. And they get off again. But so far, we don't have any privacy issues with our current customer base.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So now I'm showing you already some of the settings you can do for yourself. So you can decide yourself what is going to be visible to other people. There is also the possibility to look for other people and apply filters. So what you see, I told you we have 1,500 users in the Netherlands, but we just moved from the Dutch system to this system, and at this moment only 643, I think, people have converted from the Dutch system to the global system, because we just went live with this. So that's why you don't see 1,500 here, but only 600 or so. The map can be used to find users. The map can be used to find users in your proximity. For instance, I went on holiday 2 years ago in the north of the Netherlands, which is 2-hour drive, and people who know me will not be surprised that I forgot to bring my medicine with me. So that was still at home, and I was on Jakavi. So I said to my wife, oh no, I forgot my medicine, and she said, oh, that was not the first time. And then I realized I go to the northeast, to the place I was, and I applied a filter here. Who is using Jakavi? At this moment, 125 users are on Jakavi. I go to my holiday place, and there was one user 10 kilometers away from me. I dropped her an email. Can I borrow some medication from you? Said, yes, of course. So we had a cup of coffee, and I didn't have to drive 400 kilometers to get mine. Just a small example, but an unexpected advantage. Maybe you can tell about the mail you got this morning by accident? Yeah. Marco?
I got a question in my mailbox in MPN World from another patient who was in a situation without his illness, and he wanted to talk with me about my history and what was there, and we arranged a telephone call. And yeah, that's a good example of how it works. It's not only about sharing information, but directly connecting as well. And I think that's really helpful. Yeah, that's what a patient community is about, of course.
Any?
So about the moderation and some messages that maybe are not so real. In my experience with groups in Facebook and some others, I sometimes find, well, we are the patients and sometimes we just feel like in despair and somebody says, oh, I discovered an herbal tea from China affected me like this and it's wonderful and I can. So the moderation is led by the physician that can cut all these messages, or how do you cope with this?
We try to moderate as less as possible. If we see that somebody is posting irrelevant information, we connect to them and just ask, be careful with what you're posting. I had the same with people who are warning against specific medication because of the threat of skin cancer and all kind of other side effects that we reach out to them and say, please try to be nuanced. It's okay if you share your experience, but don't extrapolate that to all of us because a lot of other people are using this medication as well, and don't scare them if it's not necessary. So we have to make sure that I think it's a beautiful example where you have a community where people are using this in a responsible way, and we have to make sure that we keep it that way. So as soon as we see something that is irrelevant and unnecessary, we try to not remove it, but try to talk sense to them and prevent them of doing it again.
And if it doesn't change, can you stop?
Then we drop them out. Yes, we have had that twice. Any other questions? Then I go to the resources. So there is a news part, there's an events part, and there is a media center part. If you go to events, you can see there is at this moment a spring symposium in Barcelona. On the 27th, there will be a meeting of Dutch people in the south of the Netherlands about a specific topic. And if you go to resources, which is still to be filled because we have to transfer it from the Dutch system to this system. But in the media center, I saw that there is one video of a particular person here welcoming us to the... So we posted this welcome word to the media center. But this would be the place where we post the recordings of today on this platform. So you can go to the platform and look back all the presentations that you've been seeing today. And if you were not able to attend, you can look back.
Which is then only available for this community?
Only for this community, yes. There is no way you can give an external link to people outside of the platform. Are there any questions? If not, then, yeah.
Going forward, you know, when you put something like this together, it takes a lot of work to maintain that over the years. And so what I'm thinking is, you put all this community together, at some point you get sick of it. You get tired of it and you say, I'm not gonna...
There's a big chance of this because I'm not a person to maintain something. I'm a person to create something.
Yeah, it's just going forward the plan of how we gonna sustain that. Is it something, you know, you're gonna, when you go to a commercial tool like Facebook or something else, then there is that they're going to take care of that. It's going to be maintained over the years because they have people working you know, again, paid such that it is maintained. While these, there is a danger that sometime in the future it gets dropped because there's nobody wants to take care of it. Okay.
I'll take care of this question. You were not here yesterday. No. Yesterday I explained this is not something we build ourselves. What you are now saying is the main reason why we decided to go for a commercial vendor. So the underlying platform here is a commercially available platform from a very mature, good company. So that's why we do. Nevertheless, maintaining the platform in the sense that people need to be moderated, that people would be given access, that as a community you need to be sure that there's relevant content there, that's work to be done, but it doesn't have to be by people who are technicians. So maybe a nice example, Marije, who was the number 2 person in the video living on 1 square meter, although she is in a very difficult position with her fatigue, she is one of the 2 persons that is maintaining this system. And we have only 2 persons, maybe 1 hour a day, who run this system completely without any help. Good. Then I have breaking news.
I have another question. Do you have the function to get a push email if you get new?
Very good question. Apart from this web-based interface, there are also apps on the App Store for Android and iOS. If you go to the App Store and you look for MPN World, you will get an app that runs on your phone and there will be notifications. You can also get email notifications and you can define what you want in your notifications. I can show it to you, but then of course I have to. Well, there is the notification button that is easy to show, so. This is the notification bell, so I can see that Pauline has replied to one of my comments, Judy has liked a post, Eric posted a new post, and Paul published a new post. So this is the type of notification that you get. Every Sunday you will get a assembled email with everything that happened that week, if you want to receive it. If you don't want to receive it, you don't get that email. But we see a bump in involvement as soon as this email has been sent out. And then there, of course, there is the opportunity to have direct messages to people. So I get a lot of direct emails from people and I can send a lot of direct emails to people.
If I'm correct, I think... Yes, if I'm correct, I think it's also an option to filter by hospitals. So maybe you can also you can maybe curious about people also going in hospital as you and exchange.
Yes,
and connect.
What I explained yesterday is that this data is available to us. So we could use this platform to prove that a lot of our patients are being treated by doctors who have hardly any other patients, which I think is irresponsible. You need a doctor who has more patients, who has experience, who is able to detect symptoms and changes that require a step to be taken. And so because now we had the objective data, we could make a next step in the Netherlands to get more to expert groups in treatment. Yeah. But if you want to know which other patients on this platform are using my doctor as well, and do they have the same experience, you can connect to them, you can filter by it, and you can find them. Yes.
We just had a meeting for the IAS an hour ago, and the question was, could we use this platform for the underage? And would that require special...
I've been thinking on that myself as well.
Okay.
What we need to make small changes. What we do now is you can register as a patient or as a partner. If we enter a new category, parent of a child or then it's very easy. And then you can either just use the filters and see all the parents of children on the platform globally, or we create a new group. Both are possible. But I think we can be of added value to parents of children.
So
Yes.
would there be possible to have, like, I don't know if the tool has it, the meetings in this platform? Is there a
Medication is already there.
video conference?
Video conferencing. Oh,
meetings?
I'm forgetting to tell a lot.
Yeah.
You can also create events in the platform, and you can also have people registering. You can even create online or real life events, and then you can print out a barcode for registration. It's all included in the platform, so you don't have to set up your own administration. If you create an event on this platform, then you can have people either free or paid, and they can print out a badge that can be scanned by your phone, and that takes care of all of the registration. It's integral part. Creating Zoom meetings on this platform is also fully integrated. Yeah. So please reach out to me about the children, and we see what we can do. But I'm sure we find a solution that is working. Yeah. So we decided today that I made a typo there, but every advocacy group in the world, from France, from Spain, from Italy, Jamaica, whatever, US, please reach out to us and we will create a separate group for advocacy groups. Marcus and I have been talking yesterday, we should be more in contact, but we both know he goes back to Switzerland, to his tiny Switzerland. I go back to my tiny Netherlands, and we will meet next year. Yeah, and we are really wanting to get in contact with each other, but I make the same discussion with you and with you and with you, and in a week's time, we're busy with my other stuff, and we don't meet. And I think this platform gives us an opportunity for patient organizations to talk to each other in an easy way and an effective way. So we will provide a new group only for board members of advocacy groups to have a platform where we can globally discuss things together. So drop me an email if you are from an advocacy group, and we will make sure that you get access to the platform. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, number 2. I'm not ready yet.
Created by John.
Yeah, this is something. This is something I made myself, and it was because I got frustrated by the fact that it's so difficult to find adequate information about what we are experiencing. That comes with regard to medication. That is, if you have a simple question, it's so hard to Google it and find a reasonable answer. Answers are contradicting each other. I mean, the best resource for me is MPN World. And I mean, it is truly true. If I post a question there, I get an answer that helps me. But somebody who is being diagnosed comes in this terrible situation that there is so much confusing information, and it's so hard to filter out the information that is relevant to you, that I decided to create something that is helpful in this. But I started doing this, and slowly it got more complicated and more complicated. But I think we have now something that is going to be very useful for MPN patients. So I had to move from Jakavi to Besremi for whatever, not important. So if you Google, I mean, it's terrible. There is no way that a simple question like this gets an easy answer. This is just the result of if you Google something with an easy question like this. So you have to search yourself in a lot of information, and the results are polluted by advertisements, by the search engine optimization algorithms. I mean, Google defines what is going to be top of the list, and that is not what you want. It's what makes sure that you keep on their platform and seeing more advertisements. So that didn't really help. Well, let's ask ChatGPT, because these fantastic systems... well, this is the response from ChatGPT. It's a joke. It's not helping me any further. So we decided, can't we make something that is aware of the context? So with context, I mean, who are you as a patient? What type of medication do you use? What phase are you in? Are you just diagnosed, or are you a patient for 30 years? If I just had my diagnosis, my questions will be completely different than somebody who is asking questions and is in that position for 30 years. The most asked questions, how long do I live? I mean, that is a real substantial question. I got this diagnosis. Does it affect my life expectancy, yes or no? That's a completely different position for somebody who's stable for 20 years. What type of MPN do I have? It makes a difference, ET or MF. What mutation? Do you have JAK? Are you triple negative? Is there another mutation? What kind of medication do I use? I don't have to know anything about hydrea if I don't use it. What kind of complaints do I have? What side effects do I experience? I'm only interested in information that is relevant to my side effects or my complaints. I don't need information that is not relevant to me. So then we had a discussion. So if we want to provide something, shall we go to open questions and use artificial intelligence based on a closed data set, or are we having closed questions? So an open question is the question like I showed before, which is possible these days, but we decided to go for closed questions. And we try to provide contextual answers that are broader than just the medical ones. For instance, if you come to the situation where a patient is just being diagnosed, we try to explain everything related to their disease, but we also give them a little warning. Take a little time before you tell it to everybody in your environment. My personal experience is I was too open too early. So a lot of people are looking different at me than before my diagnosis. And I feel sorry I did that, because some of the people are treating me like a patient, and I don't want to be treated like a patient. Why am I getting messages from people I hardly communicate? How are you doing? How is you? This was a very strange experience for me. So in the answers, we only say, take a little time to decide who you're going to tell this or not. Same with work environment, etc. And then the answers, we try to tailor them to the phase somebody is in. The whole system is going to be maintained by patients. So although there is technical and medical information there, we want to be sure that patients themselves can maintain this system. And if you have your results on the screen, you can print it out, take it to the physician, keep it in your diary or whatever, but you can keep access to this information. And we made it such that it's multi-language by design. So we are now able to add a new language in a matter of days. And yeah, there we use artificial intelligence for translation. So let me give you a demo. We don't want an app here because an app needs to be installed. So what we did is use a technology, we call it floating apps, but that can run on your system without you having to install an app from the App Store. So there is no installation required. We imagine that if you are in the hospital and you see a QR code and you want to use this information, you just need to scan the QR code and you can use it, and you don't have to install an app first. We are currently in beta test. That means that technically the system is working. Alpha test was completed. It's stable. It works. It can it have load, but we need to be sure that the information in there is correct. So we are now moving away from the technology to the content. We have 35 patients who tested this system in the Netherlands. And we did a feedback and we scored 4.8 out of 5. So there's a huge appreciation of, I can show you mails where people were saying, this was what I was waiting for. So that's very fulfilling to get that kind of response. So the next step, what we will do is verify the information that is in there. Most of the information is being provided by myself, but I want to be sure that a larger group of patients and physicians are going to check the content. I want to be sure that what is there is correct and relevant. If you want, you can scan this and try it out yourself. We provide 3 languages at the moment, which is Dutch, Spanish, and English. And I will show you on screen what you can expect. So when you start, you can choose language. I will now do English. And then you get the first question. I think it's obvious why we called her Vera. The first thing is, what kind of information are you looking for? If you're saying, I'm looking for something different than information about MPN system and treatments, we redirect you to a page with a lot of other information. If you choose MPN symptoms and treatments, then the next statement is, it's a chronic disease with multiple phases and transitions. What applies to you? And I will fill it out now for my own situation. So I've been undergoing treatment for a longer period of time. If you would select, I have symptoms that may indicate MPN, because we still get a lot of questions for people who have been Googling, who have not been diagnosed, but think, maybe I have MPN. And they reach out to us. For those people, they can answer that question. We advise them to go to the doctor and do a blood sample, etc. If you have been recently diagnosed with MPN, we tell you about what to expect. I have been undergoing treatment for a longer period of time, so that's my selection. And I have polycythemia vera. Then we keep track of complaints for more than 20 years. And you see a lot of those are on the MPN SAF. But some other things, like I'm feeling cold, is not on this list. But we see a lot of patients who have changed resistance to cold. So we added that to the system as well. But my problem always has been fatigue and itching. So let's select that one. And then my mutation is JAK2. I am on Besremi and aspirin. And I used to have bloodletting. You can also choose I am not, sorry, come back to that later. So now we create one page and we condense all the information that is relevant to you. Okay. So now I have one piece of information with information that is only applying to me. So it's about a general paragraph about what does it mean to have a chronic illness. And then what is polycythemia vera? How does it work? What are the base values? What is the life expectancy? the increased risk of thrombosis and why that is relevant. That is a rare blood disease order, and you can see how many people are affected by this. The risk to go to MF, etc. So you have been under treatment for some time, and then there is a paragraph about what that means to you, but that you still have to be aware of changes in your complaints and etc. Then there is a generic story about mutations, familiarity, and then there is a part about JAK2 specifically. Then with respect to complaints, there is a generic part about complaints and the fact that sometimes you have to be careful to assign your complaints as to side effects and vice versa. And then there is fatigue. And this is a nice example. What you see here about fatigue is something you cannot find anywhere else, I think. With MPN World, we had a lot of patients and we have a lot of webinars about this issue. And what we try to do is assemble a lot of these different strategies to cope with fatigue. So this is why we think fatigue is caused by MPN. These are the 6 ways that from a patient base, for some patients they work. So change of medication is one. A lot of people feel good by changing, for instance, to a JAK inhibitor. Diet, I mean, we've been talking about the Mediterranean diet. Exercise, we know that for some people, exercising is helping them feel less fatigue than before. Coping, accepting it is also a big step. There is a strategy in the Netherlands developed called building reserves. You can find information, but that's a methodology where you force yourself to take rests of 15 minutes a couple of times a day, and a lot of people have improved on this. And there is an app that you can use called the Entire app. Then itching, again, the course, way of treatments, and then we come to the medication, side effects, and then only for the medication that I'm using, Basremi and aspirin. And then we come to the treatments, phlebotomy. So this is one page with information that is relevant to me. And it's taken out every kind of information that is not relevant to me. So this is what we want to provide to the MPN community in the coming months. If you want to give it a try, please. But if you do so, please use this button here to provide some feedback. So we can use that in the further development of the application. Any questions?
Bueno, felicidades, John, por esta presentación y querer unir a las personas, a las comunidades con estas enfermedades, ¿no? Yo soy amante de las nuevas tecnologías. La medida de edad que tenemos aquí es bastante joven, pero también sabemos y no debemos olvidar que estas enfermedades, por estadísticas, afectan a personas muy mayores, ¿no? Entonces, quizás, no sé si la herramienta, o tenéis alguna herramienta que pueda indicar en algún momento cuál es la media de edad de los pacientes o las personas usuarias de estas aplicaciones. Porque siempre hay una gran preocupación de cómo llegar a las personas de más avanzada edad que no usan este tipo de herramientas.
Thank you for the question. I was hoping that you would ask it. We were so surprised. Okay, I switched to the Dutch old system that is going to be terminated, but I want to show you something. As I told you, you can apply filters. And one of the filters is age. So I can say, give me all the people who are 65 or older. I know that because I'm 65. So almost all users are older than 300 years old. So of the population of 1,300 people on this platform, 616 are older than 65. 538 are older than 65. 181 are older than 75. 18 are older than 85. So yes, there are a lot of people below 65 on this platform, but an amazing number of people older who are applying to this platform. So this means these people have been reached by us. We were able to connect to them. They have decided to register, and they are also willing to provide information on this. So they're using the system. So I was quite surprised by this because I had the same fear. Are we not providing something that's not going to be useful for the large majority of people who are affected by this disease? But we were surprised by the results. Any other questions?
So the customized page that I have obtained is a mere translation, or is localized, for example? Because I'm looking for some things that really can apply to Netherlands, but not to Spain. For example, I will give you feedback in that. I want to ask if it is just a translation from Google, or there is some AI?
No. So I can show you, maybe I show you the platform that we created for this. Then I can show you how we do this. So without going into detail, this is the backend system. So this is where we create it. So you have one area where you define the logic of the bot with all the steps that you have, like what we are using now is information for you, and for each step you can define all kind of conditions. That's a kind of programming that's not really helpful for people filling the system. To fill the system, there is a content library. And for every piece of text that you see there's a component. And this component, for instance, if you look at JAK2, description of JAK2, you can see you define that in a separate component. And if you want to add a language, let me say I want to add it a French language, I go to there and I use the AI translation into French. Accidentally hit it. Or Croatian. Why not? So now we have Croatian text. The next step is we send this to a patient community from Croatia and asking, could you please verify this translation? So it's a two-step approach. This first step helps you a lot in creating the initial translation, and now translation in Croatian only means moderation. So they can apply this to their situation. That's how we do it.
Thank you. So it involves a kind of localization for the countries because other way. Okay.
Yes.
Very interesting. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you very much.